This is the Gettysburg Address quiz. Make sure you put your last name, your first name, your class period. Number 1, 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. Does this mean, or is this re-saying, how is this resaid? 27 years ago, our relatives made a new country that brought us together. 87 years ago, some people made a new country that brought us together. 27 years ago, some people made a new country that brought us together. Number 2, conceived in liberty. Does this mean taken from a free country? Does this mean born in a free country? Does this mean based on the idea of freedom? Number 3, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal and written to make sure that everyone would get the same things and believe that all people are the same and made sure the song was the same as others. Number 4, now we are engaged in a great civil war. Now we are politely debating. Now we are planning a war. Now we are fighting a war between the states. Number 5, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. Trying to see if we or any country who believes in that idea can continue to exist. Testing if any country can survive forever. Number 6, we are met on a great battlefield of that war. People are coming to fight with us here. We are standing on an important battlefield of that war. People are coming to meet us here. Number 7, we have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. We have come here to create a place where soldiers can rest because they fought so hard for our country. We have come to say that part of this field is holy because it is a final resting place for those who died here so that our country can continue to exist. Number 8, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. But in a larger sense, we should not honor people who fight in wars. But in the bigger picture, we cannot build here because people died here and it would be disrespectful. But in the bigger picture, we cannot make this place holy because the men who died here are already dead. Number 9, the world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. People won't remember this ceremony, but they will remember the men who fought and died here. The world doesn't care about this place, but the men who fought here will always remember. Number 10, it is for the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. We who are still alive need to promise to continue to fight for the ideas that these men died for. We need to dedicate this cemetery and make it look nice to honor these men. Number 11, it is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. We need to promise that we will work on the great job ahead of us to remember the dead. We will increase our effort to save the ideas that they died for, and we have to promise to make the cemetery nice and remember these men. Number 12, that we were highly resolved that these dead shall not have died in vain, that we make sure other people don't die here, that we find out if the dead died terrible deaths, that we promise that the men who died here died for a good reason. Number 13, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, that we will become a really religious country, that our country under God's blessing shall be reborn in freedom, that our country under God's blessing shall have a new form of government, and number 14, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth, and that the idea that all the people should be involved in making their own rules and laws for themselves won't be destroyed, that a government of people cannot exist on this earth, and that one government of lots of people should spread all over the earth.